There are tons of dinosaur movies and series at this point, and almost every one of them has a villain. Some good, and some, well, not exactly villains per se. But not many of those dinosaur villains are truly destructive. Yeah, sure of them have killed a few things and destroyed a small house or something, but I'm going to be taking a look at some dinosaur villains that have some of the most destructive capabilities, and they're also cruel. So starting off, we have the infected sauropod from Primal. This show is basically about a caveman called Spear and a female tyrannosaur called Fang, whose families were killed by these red armored tyrannosaur subspecies. So they basically killed them and then traveled around the world, and they experienced some really freaky things, but perhaps one of the most nasty and downright destructive creatures they have encountered is the infected sauropod. This sauropod didn't start out like this. Basically, some snot-nosed Bradyparasaurolophus bites the dinosaur when he's healthy and spreads the infection to the gentle giant. This sickness, or plague madness as the episode title says, doesn't kick in right away, but when it does, this dude geeks out. This single infected menace absolutely annihilates the entire herd of sauropods in some of the most gruesome ways possible. When Spear and Fang stumble across the massacre, they are disgusted and somewhat horrified as to what could have done this. And dear heavens, the look on their faces when they see a cracked out long neck that looks like it caught every STI in Miami tower over them, it's hilarious. This thing immediately crashes out and chases them and proceeds to destroy a good amount of forest, knocking over and destroying any trees or rocks in its path, only to get temporarily stopped when it jumps off a cliff and splats on the ground, which gives Spear and Fang enough time to hide in a small opening in the valley wall. Note, this fall doesn't kill it, but out of frustration for not catching its prey, it takes a snooze. This has to be the only thing that truly horrified Spear and Fang, and they've taken on a lot of things, from eldritch beings that can warp reality and time travel, to spiders the size of a goddamn house. Most of the horror comes from the fact that the infection is ravenous and allows the animal to have seemingly infinite stamina and no pain receptors, since when it wakes up it chases the two again but stuck between the canyon wall. It literally tears the flesh off of its ribcage to get to the two targets, and on its rampage it destroys the solid earth over a magma lake. Basically, the entire area that has been there for who knows how long was destroyed and turned up by this creature as it fee-fi-fo forms after Spear and Fang. Its reign of terror only comes to an end when it literally is incinerated by lava and flame. Now, the sauropod is a villain, but not by choice, since before the infection it was a chill dude, eating fruit and preparing to be a dad it seemed. But the infection basically makes whatever it infects into a mindless killing machine, dead set on destroying or infecting any other living being in the surroundings. Next on the list is the OG Sharptooth from the Land Before Time. Now, this entire series and some movies has a Sharptooth in almost every episode. Sharp teeth are the sauropods in the show, but it can also be crocodilians and even marine reptiles. Basically, anything that eats meat is called a Sharptooth in the show. There are a bunch of different types, but I have yet to see any that meets the size, ferocity, or destructive capabilities of the OG Sharptooth. So this is a tyrannosaur that is almost as persistent in pursuing prey as the infected sauropod. I mean, he takes thorns the size of swords to the face and crashes through them to get to two tiny dinosaurs, being Littlefoot and Sarah, which would seem odd for such a large predator to do. But the mysterious beyond, which is where most Sharptooth come from, is basically a wasteland, so I guess he has to take the opportunity whenever it presents itself. But come on man, look at his belly, I don't think he was that desperate. Regardless, this dude was massive. I mean, Littlefoot's mom, which I'm gonna assume is an Apatosaurus, would be around 25 to 30 tons, and this dude in terms of pure width isn't that far behind. This thing is able to smash through large rocks with its head that are thicker than the walls in the Indominus cage, so you know, you couldn't really dream of containing this thing. Also, when this guy stomps, it cracks the ground like an anime character who's getting a power up. And Littlefoot's mom isn't even really doing that, and she's a bloody sauropod. This dude is able to jump like me when my friend grabs my phone while it's unlocked, which is insane for its size. Basically, throughout this thing's entire screen time, he destroys rocks and breaks off chunks of the occasional mountain, which in terms of pure destructiveness, I haven't seen from any other dinosaur, probably besides the STI sauropod. I mean, no Jurassic dinosaur showed a fraction of this level of destruction, Devastasaurus didn't, and even Disney's Carnotaurus didn't do this. And those dudes are just the epitome of roid rage. But that wraps it up for the second geeked out dinosaur. Now it's time for the final candidate. If you are this far, hit the subscribe and like button and click the notification bell so you don't miss an update. This really helps the channel and allows me to keep making videos like this for you guys. So finally we have one of the most spiteful, not just dinosaur villains but animal villains ever, One Eye. This is a Tyrannosaurus Rex from the movie Dino King. As his name suggests, he's missing one eye. It doesn't say how he lost his eye, but it's probably from the Black Air Force energy type behavior he gets involved with. So I'll say it straight, in terms of raw destruction, he isn't nearly as powerful as the cracked out sauropod or the big back Sharptooth. He's just a little bit above the largest theropods in the Jurassic franchise in pure wrecking abilities. But what allows him to be on this list is his intelligence, which makes him capable of influencing, in quotation marks, others to cause carnage. Now this guy is simply despicable. Blood sees an ankylosaur in a valley, and to prevent getting bopped from the club, he pushes a boulder on it. Now when this dude sees the main character, Speckles, and his family, he just can't stand it. Like he cannot see those folks happy. Speckles and his family are Tarbosaurs and he is a Rex, so time period wise it doesn't really make sense, but who cares. But this dude has some type of build up tyrannosaur racism or something, so he devises a plan to start a stampede of almost every herbivore in that valley, which is thousands, and leads them towards the Tarbosaur family, basically killing most of Speckles' family and also hundreds of other dinosaurs. I haven't witnessed any other dinosaur character responsible for this many deaths in a couple of minutes. After the stampede is done, he basically yeets Speckles' mother off a cliff and spends his entire life making Speckles' life a living hell, all the way to adulthood, like Thanos when he decided to torment that kid his entire life for no reason at all. Now One Eye is strong in his own right, don't get me wrong, since he was able to get out of a mud pit that even a sauropod couldn't, and he also has insane durability, able to be thrown off a cliff and just tanking it. At the end of the series, he's able to start another stampede, which again kills more dinosaurs in just a couple of minutes, just to fight Speckles. He also manages to kill 2 or 3 of his kids, by the way. So I'll admit it, he isn't destructive as in terms of clearing forests or destroying walls of stone like our previous lineup on his own. I low-key just wanted an excuse to talk about One Eye again. But with his intelligence, he was able to obtain a death count that far exceeds that of the other 2 in just a couple of minutes. So it can be argued that he destroyed hundreds of lives, including Speckles. I mean, good heavens, he gave the dude hell. Do you guys think there were any other dinosaur villains that could have caused this much destruction? And if so, leave it in the comments and who would be a better fit to the list. That'll just about do it for this one, so see you misfits.